Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the GoldFish Report. I'm your host and researcher, Louisa. Today is Friday, December 20th, 2024. This is the GoldFish Report number 1126. It's food for the soul. Mark, for psychic medium, Mark Christopher Nelson, who's not here yet. Now, he's supposed to be coming, joining us. So we'll just, if he makes it back okay and he can join us, he will. There are two people. I just wanted to first say that I have the names of two people who have made comments. Now, I didn't see these comments all this time. I don't know. I don't, there's a limit to like how many videos I'll go back and check the comments. I just don't keep checking them every day because I have over 1,000 videos. And can you imagine like how many people come and see these videos and comment on like when I did like, report number 300 or something? I'm not looking at that. So it's sometimes that I look and there's nothing there, and then on my more recent report. So I have two people who I'm going to be asking for today if Mark joins us, and I'm hoping that he will. And let's see. I guess what I want to do is start out though, talking about these drones, and we do have. There's clearly conflicting information, but I think what we're seeing, what Mark had said last week, was that there were really two factions. Let's just put it to you that way. And we've always known that there's been two factions within the government, yes, within the government. We have the shadow government, and then we have the one that everybody sees. But with the military, we've always had the military industrial complex, and we've always had really more of a patriot side. And it does look like that those are the two factions that Mark was referring to in his prediction, or in his, sorry, I guess I would say reading from last week. So let me screen share something for you because um, this is the first time we're actually having a confirmation from someone in the military. And he's not really high ranking, doesn't look like it, but he had to have gotten permission to do this. So let me screen share this so you could take a look at what's going on. Um, let's do that real quick here. So this is, as you know, our Twitter page, and I'm going to optimize this for screen sharing now. Take a listen to what he has to say.
Yeah, I will be speaking about the drones. All right, as you know, I'm in the army, the military, whatever you gonna call it. Look, we are launching the drones up in the sky as of right now in New Jersey and stuff, in Texas, everywhere. Like, y'all don't gotta be afraid. Them are man-made drones, and we're doing the launching or whatever. Now, what you do have to be concerned of, my bad, my eye, but it's the orbs that's inside the sky that y'all see that's glowing and stuff, that's shooting down the drones and all that. That's not a part of us. Them are actually real life aliens. Like, aliens do exist. They're above and they're below us. Yes, they do exist. And 2025 come, there will be a lot more of exposing the truth. I can't say the reason why, but because it's already out here, so I can speak on this. Aliens are real, and we will have to evacuate sooner than later. But just be careful. Keep looking up in the sky at night. They only come at night. They will only come at night. I don't know the reason. I just know it's been investigated. Aliens are real, and we're trying to figure out why they're here visiting us right now. It's a lot going on within the United States. It's a lot of everything, but they're real. Be careful. Watch out. Look. I don't know what to tell you or like where to go, but look, you just gotta you gotta be prepared. Like, I don't know, cause right now it's only like really calculating like the United States though. Like, probably go to an island or some shit. I don't look, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I don't know where you're gonna go. I don't know if you're gonna survive. But hey, it is what it is. It's 2024. It's the end times. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. Shit. We all gonna. You feel me? I can't say the word, but you feel me? We all gonna. You feel me? It is what it is, man. Like I'm not even joking. Like this. Let me stop cussing on him. It's serious, man. Like this, like situation is very serious, and like I try not to think on it, and I really didn't even want to speak about it, but we all should just pray and keep just keep praying to God or whoever you believe in, and just have faith. That's all I can say.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm sure there's let me first stop sharing this and go over to the live chat and see. Let me refresh the page here and see if I can catch everybody. Yeah, I'm hoping that Mark is going to join us. I haven't heard from him since earlier, so I'm hoping that he will join us. He's supposed to come by, but we'll see. I'm going to just continue with the report because I wanted to talk about uh, some things that this is the chat disabled in here? I wonder, huh? Because I don't see a chat window. That's weird. Hmm. What else is new? Oh, here we go. There's the chat. It just took a while. Yeah, so it'll maybe be a little bit later. Mark joins us. Hopefully he will join us. I'm not entirely sure, how he had a prior engagement, so I'm not sure if he'll make it. But let's talk about this. So he said that the drones are the military. Um, I can't verify that what this man said was true or completely true. There could be some omission there, and whether or not he was authorized to say that, I don't know. But I have a little bit more information on this. These orbs, he says they were aliens, and I don't know if he's really using the right terminology for that. A lot of people equate aliens with demons. So if you're talking about extraterrestrials, that might be um, maybe what he meant. I think some people might use those terms interchangeably, but this is what we have. As of recently, let me just get to screen share something here. Oh, I wanted to share uh, a story. Hmm, I might have deleted it. Not be good. Okay, so right now, this MH370 is back in the news. And I don't know if you're familiar with what happened. I think there's still a lot of speculation as to what happened. I don't think people really know. But what we do know is we saw these orbs circling the airplane, the Malaysian Airlines 370. And then at a certain point, there were three of them. And at a certain point, there was a flash and it disappeared. Now, most people who watch Goldfish Report would absolutely know that there's a lot of black ops projects that the government has done, used our taxpayer money to do, or at the very least, um, used the drug running to maybe arms sales and things of that nature to earn money that was not traceable to fund these black ops projects. But we do have advanced technology. There's a lot that's going on under the ice in Antarctica, this blue ice, it's called. There's advanced technology. In fact, according to my sources, the Antarctica, Atlantis, really covered most of the land of the old maps. So it was huge. We had a very advanced civilization here and very, very advanced and exotic weapons. It was understood what was on that MH370 and why it needed to be uh, apprehended, I would say, was that not only were the scientists on board who dealt with semiconductors, microchips, their families were, from what I understand, as well. There's still really no mystery because those people haven't turned up yet, right? And that plane, I guess, hasn't turned up yet, unless it was, of course, unless it was part of the MH 370 or whatever. I mean, the MH17, right? But what happens is, there were room temperature microchips that don't burn or freeze, very advanced technology. And this stuff is very powerful. From what I understand, this technology could absolutely destroy a city in probably seconds. I mean, it's very powerful. And this is why this is kind of all leading into disclosure. We're going into a very slow disclosure process. The drones, from my sources, are both white hats and black hats. So it's kind of like they may be looking for some radioactive material, but there are multiple ops going on. So probably some of the drones are the MIC, and some are probably the White Hat Alliance. They do look like they're hunting for some dirty bombs, for some nukes, gamma rays. They can detect gamma rays. Apparently, there was a cargo container that arrived in the port of New Jersey, and that it's usually lined with lead, and so that the radiation doesn't leak from the material. But it looked like it had been damaged, and so they were searching for. They claimed they were searching for these gamma rays that you can see. And then there were the balls. A lot of people saw these spheres of energy. Plasma energy is what it is. And they saw that sometimes it would morph, it would shift almost, or literally, because these are plasma orbs. These are cold fusion plasma orbs from my source. And these orbs are also a very advanced technology, and that what you saw on that Ashton Forbes, who had been disclosing what happened with MH370, he has, shown some very good video of this and the orbs. Uh, yeah, going to get to what they are made out of, and how they are made. So let's see. Okay. So what's going on is this blue ice down in Antarctica. It reacts to it's reacting to make high-grade military weapons. So like Raytheon and Skunk Works are involved in this allegedly, okay, according to my source. And it's about infinite energy, or what's called zero point energy. And what happens is it creates a certain type of neutrino, which turns into blue ice. So there's very highly advanced technology, radiation, certain neutrinos, and powerful energy, blue beam. This is talking about blue beam. All right, so blue beam can travel faster than the speed of light and quantum leap into different dimensions. Just think about that. It also gathers information, and it's used in communication device between galaxies and other outer and inner dimensions. It's made with infinite energy. It's a plasma energy, and it has powerful neutrinos. Uh, all together create a particle beam weapon, and they can create earthquakes. They're very, very powerful weapons. Um, so both sides have access to this technology. I mean, I can't imagine what would happen if they both decided to use. I mean, it's nothing short of Star Wars, and we might see that. I mean, I don't know what this guy was really talking about, um, but because he wasn't saying anything specific. He's like, oh, it's the end times, whatever, we're all. Like, why would that's so reckless and irresponsible? And don't forget, folks, these things are happening and this is a distraction. This is a major distraction. And God knows the Democrats needed one, right? They needed a Democrat. I mean, they needed a distraction away from these indictments that were coming, the Diddy list, the Epstein list, and even more, and where all that goes, and who's connected to that. So this was a distraction. They always have to manufacture a distraction when bad news comes out about them, right? So both sides do have these orbs, and they're working with supercharged plasma drones. Um, Drones using classified parameters of anti-gravity technology and using this high plasma technology. It's called a cold plasma discharge density. It creates a sphere or a ball of plasma. The plasma drones are using quantum communications, normal uh, for these. Oh, I see. Normal technology can't track the drones, and that's what the problem was they were having. They couldn't really keep up with them. That these, uh, I think they were also hunting President Trump. They were. That's why he made that comment that he changed his plans. He was planning on going to Bedminster over the weekend, and he changed his plans, and he made that public statement about it because um, he knew they were flying over there, or at the very least looking. They're hunting him. They are absolutely hunting him because he is going to make massive changes. I can tell you that there's definitely different timelines going on. There's different factions at the powers that be. The information that I get, I'm not sure sometimes what timeline it's for. So sometimes I hesitate to report something because I'm not seeing it really reflect in the timeline I'm in. So I know this sounds a little bit unusual, but this is the way it is. Our reality is layered with different timelines, and I'm not going to try to explain the physics of that right now, but um, let's see, what else do we have? It's anti-gravity. What they found with this plasma was that plasma can store far more charge, far greater charge than any other material we have. So lithium, batteries, whatever, AC, DC current, whatever, solar power, um, nuclear energy. This plasma energy is really unbelievable. Fusion uses plasma. Hot fusion will not work. Cold plasma is a very high charge. Um, so this is really where 0 point energy comes from. Yeah. And quantum communication system, a gravity. So what it also does is it opens up wormholes. And so this is what happened with MH370, is that because of this type of reaction, you had um, it can open wormholes for teleportation, according to this intel, these sources that I have are hyper. So one of the reasons that we can travel like our F-16s or even right, and British Airways Concorde, right, that they would smash the sound barrier. Sometimes the hypersonic speed that we can use on these aircraft use a plasma sheath that reduces the drag without melting or falling apart. So there's kind of like, think of it as like a force field, It's a plasma sheath that goes around it and reduces the drag. Interesting, right? The orbs can create wormholes. It creates a force field around an object, around something. It creates a force field and then makes it disappear. So this explains what happened to MH370. I mean, and this is completely non-tech physics explanation as to what happened. We had so many, this is old technology, and some of this technology was in the wrong hands. There's evidence of Atlantis, there's evidence of other higher advanced societies on this planet, and you know, it didn't end well for them, did it? There's inner Earth civilizations. There's so much more to our reality, to our world and our reality than we know, and it's all been kept from us. And this is really the apocalypse, the awakening, the great awakening. This is really the revelation of all that's been hidden. And it's coming out in drips, but it's coming. It's consistent. Actually, it's like more like a snowball effect, right? Going downhill. There's places we're not allowed to, go in this world, like Antarctica. There's places in um, there's entrances to inner Earth that we're not allowed anywhere near these places. There's a place in Kentucky. There's a place in Grand Canyon. Um, it goes all the way down. There's deep tunnel systems, very, very deep. And through Project Bluebeam, there are civilizations getting ready to make contact with humans, and they are using this plasma, special neutrinos, to communicate with humans. So this will be what they're saying is small groups of people will be moving important information regarding this um, disclosure event. So the drone wars, this is what's happening. Of course, isn't it a coincidence that Elon Musk happened to post about the drone wars in late September? Yeah, I'll show you that post shortly. But the deep state, this is a beta event. They're tracking Trump and they're looking to assassinate him again, of course, and certain other people as well. So, it's a very dangerous time. Uh, okay, no problem. You probably forgot. Yeah, Mark will be with us towards the end of the program because he is on his way back from his other engagement that he was in. The military drones are definitely looking for gamma rays and dirty bombs and nukes, according to the source. While Deep State are using these bigger drones in UAP psyops. So there is a blue beam operation. There is the fire sign that I reported on. There was. I mean, this is exactly what fire sign is. I mean, I've been reporting on this for quite some time. Projects. Yeah, this is all about disclosure projects, folks. And also, they're going to talk about the human trafficking aspect of this using these UAPs, UFOs. It's all going to be coming forward. Um, but the deep state's trying to create a panic with these drone wars right now. And they do have technology that can, attack. We might see some Star Wars action. I'm just saying that's how they're probably going to do disclosure, right? Both sides have this orb technology, though, and it's, again, understanding the power of plasma physics. And what's interesting is that our heart is a vortex, right? So this plasma has this vortex in it, which creates this wormhole. And what's interesting is that our heart is a vortex too, and it uses plasma created using monoatomic gold. And when it goes inside the heart, when that monoatomic gold mixes with the water in our body, it creates a flash of light, which we have seen with the conception. When the sperm fertilizes the egg, we see that flash of light. Plasma is in all things. This is what the Great Awakening really is about, these disclosure projects. Um, yep. Infinite energy, 0 point energy. It's used interchangeably. We're going to see more, I think, of this in 2025, more drone wars. Um, yeah, we're going to see more about what the deep dark ops have been with regard to that have been controlled by the MIC, military industrial complex, which our presidents, past presidents, have warned us about. This will be over the next 3-year period of time. It's also going to expose the dark, evil spirits, Satanism, and all that runs this world. And that's something that look, I don't know if people are ready for this. Um, I'm sure many are not ready for this. But let me just see your comments. I'm going to go over to the live chat and take a look and see. Wait, this isn't it. It doesn't look like it. Hmm. Just bear with me for a second. Oh, here we go. That's my channel. Yeah, they think they just fool around with me a little bit. Hi, Cheryl. Nice to see you. Yeah. S- You said that the remote viewer said there are some good orbs. Yes. I have a feeling they are gonna blow the Madrid. Hmm. I hear the colored orbs were the good guys and the white orbs not. I don't know if I could say that. But I can tell you this. I'm going to show you uh, a video, a very short clip of someone who was viewing, a woman who was viewing the orbs, and I'm telling you, she was having a religious experience. Now, for my viewers who know about Project Fire Sign, you know that that's exactly what that technology is designed to do. That road to Damascus effect, right? Was reported before. And that this is what I believe. Let me first show you this one. I'm going to screen share this one here first so you can take a look at this. And when Mark comes, when Mark gets here, finally, we will go to readings. But check out this orb. Just check this out. It's really something.
It's lighting up the car there. It's lighting up the car there, so it's probably not CGI.
Yeah, I can't say whether this is real or not, but I can definitely um, say that I don't know that they actually get this close, but I know two people, at least two, who have had experiences with orbs coming into their room and absolutely changing them. This is just, I'm not quite sure what this is, but this is certainly what it would look like. So I'm going to just scroll for a minute because I have this video, and I hate to scroll. But here's another video of an orb flying high above New Jersey. Is this the one where, see if this is the one where she says she has this religious experience about it. It might be. Of course, you have to get past all these commercials, right? Let's see. So you can see this yourself. I mean, this is, interesting. I'm going to screen share this
1,000 feet.
sound.
I'm going to play some video
This is
footage
from
so you guys
Dabu,
can see this thing moving.
Dabu 7.
You can see the object just kind of slowly moving around. It's not like anything that I've ever seen before. This is in the ballpark of an orb, if you ask me. This individual says he's familiar with fighter jets, military aircraft, drones, and it was neither.
Mhm.
And it raises the question, what is it? You can see here in this other frame,
Mhm.
the object as he tries to zoom in on it before he loses it in the clouds. A very weird looking object. It doesn't look to be anything known out there in terms of aircraft. And it looks to be,
I'm going to fast forward
in
that.
looking at the detail of this,
Mm,
it is just very, very crazy looking.
mm,
It seems something absolutely massive is going on. Your government is gaslighting you. They're trying to say, whatever. I actually have video footage of them coming out and admitting that this is a federal government program, is what they called it.
All right, I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to continue to look for that video that I'm referring to. Sorry, hair's in my face bothering me. Um, let's see, where did it go? Yeah. It's important to show you this because it shows exactly what this fire sign is. I mean, it's what I believe it is. It's my opinion. It's exactly what the technology is designed to do. I'm gonna find that in just one second. And Mark, I know Mark, he's texting me. He's on his way. So if you're looking for a reading, just hang tight. It will absolutely, he will absolutely join us. And we'll go to some readings. I know he has a lot. We're gonna have an extended program tonight because we're running a little bit behind. Um, I don't want to scroll while we're on the phone. Because I mean, on the phone. No, I meant he was texting me on my phone. That's what I was thinking. I don't want to scroll while I'm recording because it's a little rough on the eyes. So as soon as I find it, I will screen share it. And again, um, it's exactly what I wonder if I bookmarked it. I try to bookmark things so that I can access them a little bit faster. But let me just see, just one moment, please. And let's see. Oh yeah, now all these flashing lights. Have you heard the report of all these Walmarts that have all these flashing lights going off all of a sudden? And of course, I'm really glad that this bill, Elon Musk did have a very, very prominent role in drumming up support to squash the bill the way it was. It was just ridiculous. I mean, I really hope that, they will take control of the reckless spending in our government because you know, it's not good for any of us. Hmm. I don't think that's it. Yeah, the drones, you've seen them. They have, but okay. So what my source was saying, and let me just screen share this one because this one I think you're going to be able to see for yourself. Um, when, so these orbs look like, so they're orbs, and then suddenly, like a plane comes out of it because these orbs have a vortex in the center. They have a wormhole, reportedly, and they can, whatever goes through it can also come back that way. And also, we could see some very high energy at the center of this. I mean, it's very, very dark. Now it's changing form. You see, so that's a teleportation. What happens is something comes through it from whatever other dimension they may be. We do have many dimensions here, folks. I mean, like I was saying, we're talking about timelines. That could be, is that a dimension? Or, it's hard to say, but is this the one? These are people talking about the orbs. And there's lots of video out there. I'm sure you've seen plenty of it. But you really have to see this one. Again, I am scrolling, which I really wish I wasn't, but orb sighting. I just wonder if this is it.
Look at that.
No. It's just another orb.
Bro, I've seen it all over TikTok. Now I'm literally seeing them in person. This is right next to Nashville, Tennessee. Right in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah. So that's just more. I mean, there's plenty of videos of these orbs, and hmm, this is in Florida, that was in Tennessee, so now they're all over the place. This is interesting though. Some have a different opinion about that these are what these are. These don't look the same. If you take a look at this, many believe that these orbs are angels. And when you look at the stars in the sky, if you look at them very closely, this is what they look like. They're not what we were told they look like. And that's why when the stars They said,
Jesus loves me. Oh, you know Jesus. You know Jesus. Jesus is awesome, isn't he?
okay, did you hear that? So the woman was having a religious experience. So this was the clip. And so, that sounds like fire sign to me. Um, there's a lot going on. There's so much. It's not like I can compress it into a really short report, but I am trying. See if we have yeah, dozens of UFOs spotted over New Jersey for several days. Yeah. Well, that's nothing new in New Jersey. I mean, I've seen them many times. I've seen like four different UFOs, and I don't even mean recently. This was, throughout the years. I was actually live streaming once doing a report, and I saw a UFO outside, and it had the round lights, the lights that go around. It's the lights themselves didn't go around, but they lit up. It looked like the lights were actually the thing that moved, not the section of the saucer that had the lights on it. It just seemed that the light in and of itself is what was circulating, not the disc. So the light, so something inside, some kind of energy, probably this orb energy, this fusion energy, this energy that is anti-gravity, this plasma energy, this 0 point energy, right? And so why are we paying for it if we already have it, right? Well, that's, why we're paying. You know why. It's um but so are we going to have a what happened to my oh, here it goes. That's really weird. Um are we going to have a government shutdown tonight? I don't know. We'll find out. Um Biden and Harris had last minute canceled their scheduled Christmas vacations and got to the airport to leave and then turned around and came back to the White House in quite a hurry. So what are they up to? Are they going to pull the 25th Amendment? Are they going to kick Joe Biden out? Has he already had a heart attack? Is Kamala going to take over for the next 30 days? I mean, we don't know. We can ask Mark though, because I don't have a crystal ball, but we do have a psychic in the house. Actually, he should be joining us pretty very soon. We're going to extend the program so that we can um, get some readings from Mark. But this situation with the orbs, um, this is advanced technology. This is really what the whole disclosure program is about. This advanced technology, other types of technology, physics that most people won't understand, but that I think we can have an amazing, amazing future on one timeline. There's other timelines where I definitely not see that happening. Um, and that's what's crazy about it because we just don't know what timeline we're on. When it's, because there is this battle between good and evil. There is this battle going on. And look, there's been reports that they're going to try to open these portals in CERN and bring in, which they probably already have, bring in entities from another dimension, because that's what CERN is about. Remember neutrinos, that's what they're studying there. Yeah. They're opening up portals, allegedly, to bring in, demonic entities. They want Satan's end time army. I don't know, for whatever reason. Um, There's a lot we don't know. Let me just go into the chat and see if everybody see who's there. Yeah. There we go. Hi, Destined for Greatness. Good to see you. Yeah, Tr Simpsons did predict it, but we don't know when that's going to be. Hmm. Right. Some good ones. Destined for Greatness. Yeah, definitely. Cheryl. Right. Right, Cheryl. All we can do is go by what we hear and hope for the best. I really think that there isn't much we can do. Um, at some point, there's no way that humanity can ever become a level one civilization that Michio Kaku talked about. We, if we don't, if we have to stop the wars here. I mean, why? I guess what I don't like about what Elon Musk is doing is he's not trying to take care of the, policies. He's not contributing to policies that will improve the quality of life for all humans here first. So it really seems like, this is not a good thing, to try to establish what breakaway civilizations in other lands, in other places, galaxies, whatever, other planets. I mean, I don't I don't know what you think. You tell me what you think. I think it's reckless and irresponsible to do that. Um, and it's probably a cover. It's probably a cover for something. Probably just they just want more money, right? The flashing lights. Yeah, so there's definitely more coming out. I mean, this is what it's all about. It's about disclosure. Um, Now we also know that, yeah, plasma. Take a look at this. Well, I don't want to get a strike. Hmm. They're trying to build the world's largest fusion reactor. Biggest ever that's ever been built. And this thing is a monster. I'm only gonna show this for a minute because I don't want to get a strike. But check this out, guys. This is just
Construction
huge.
project. The largest and most powerful nuclear fusion reactor ever built. An amazing team of scientists and construction workers are trying to replicate what happens inside the sun, potentially unlocking a source of clean and virtually inexhaustible energy. And it's demanding one of the biggest international collaborations in history.
The answer has eluded scientists for decades.
Now, it's being seen as the great hope for generating clean power.
But if it does work, it could help save the planet.
Today is an historical moment.
Successful nuclear fusion has long been a dream for scientists worldwide.
No fewer than 35 nations are teaming up and combining their strengths to build something that's never been built before.
Without that extraordinary partnership, the epic International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor simply wouldn't be possible.
Okay, so I wanted to just show that very quickly. I don't want to show all of it because I don't want to get a copyright strike, but that's, very impressive. It's huge. It just looks like we should be able to use advanced technology to benefit everybody on the planet, not just the elite, not just the wealthiest. That is just passé. We're never going to be a level one civilization if we can't get uh, past a caste system here, a class system or a caste system. Um, Everybody has to be seen as equals for their contributions, and contributions have to be required from everybody in some way, shape, or form. There's no other way to do this. There's just too much inequality. There's too much inequity here. And until that's resolved, I could see why there's a firmament above us or Van Allen belt, whatever you want to call it. I mean, guess, when you're this reckless, like we are here with, and I know it's not humans doing this. I know that some humans have sold out, but I know that it's we'll just say we had a parasitic infestation that kind of took over. And that's really been the source of most of this. We are going to see Mark. He is going to join us. I probably like in another couple of minutes or so. So, um, I thought it was very fascinating to share this with you. I don't think these orbs are anything to fear, but I can't say that for sure. I think that, again, both sides of the military have this technology themselves. Um, I don't know how different that is from, uh, other, I guess, life forms in other galaxies, whether they come here to try to communicate with us. I don't know the difference between them, and this is where you have to kind of really use your intuition and use your extra senses to, and of course your skill of discernment in terms of whether it's benevolent or not. You should get a good vibe from it. I mean, you should trust your intuition and whatever. Uh, like Mark, I mean, he trusts his intuition completely, and he's very good at it. Most of us second guess this, and we've talked about this on the program before. Most of us second guess our own instincts, and as a result of that, we usually end up regretting choices where we had felt that nudge and didn't listen to it. So that's what I'm talking about. Um, as soon as Mark does join us, I'm gonna take two readings from people that we were waiting in the past who were waiting, and honestly, I didn't see their message until a couple days ago, and I responded to it. Um, it's been a busy time for me personally, and I was very sick, so you can be sure that I, didn't remember that there was a couple people who wanted to have a reading. Um, so we're going to get to it tonight because I don't want anyone to be left out, and I appreciate your patience and understanding because I had been sick with something for like a month. Um, it really started when this haze started to settle in around, I guess it was in November. It was a haze like I never saw before. It was, it was very brown, and I think it was a chemtrail haze that was just sitting. And at that point, I had started having respiratory issues, and they're spraying us like bugs. What can we say? They're they you know they have a contempt for human beings, and we just pray. We got to pray. We really have to pray that we can be saved from this, really. Um, Biblically speaking, these are end times and there's a lot going on. So just make sure you're good with the one upstairs, and, make sure you're good in your heart, because that, whether this is ascension, whether this is rapture, whether it's coming, it's imminent, I don't know who gets to stay and who gets to leave, but we just hope that, mm, we hope that, it's not painful no matter what it is. So right now, there's a massive panic in the CIA and the Pentagon and the Five Eyes agencies that pushed and ran the fake pandemic operations and the creation of the bioweapon and the jabs, the juice, as exposure of the deep state operations of happening on a mass are happening on a mass scale. Humans across the world are awake and aware that the corrupt system is controlling their governments and laws. So this is important part of disclosure, right? Part of waking up. And on a further note, the human race has already rejected the idea of another pandemic and more jabs. Less than 5% of humans have taken the vaccine since 2023. If my sources are correct, that's amazing. People, unfortunately, like, and how many died? It's not good. Mhm. So the deep state is in panic as Trump is getting ready to initiate arrest wars and firing of tens of thousands of U.S. government employees, as you employ department heads and so forth, because this Doge process, they are trimming the fat. Now, he said, in terms of Department of Education, that it will be one of the departments to go because he's going to put that back in the state's jurisdiction where it belongs. So he's absolutely following the letter of the law and the Constitution and the separation of powers. It's only because they were taking federal money that the federal government would always act like like a bully and dictate what they should do with the money. And it forced everybody into doing this Common Core, things on a national level that just, weren't beneficial for our kids. So, yep, I see our friends joining us right now. So I'm going to close out my Intel portion here. And hey, good to see you both. Nice to see you, Mark.
Hi,
And
Louisa.
Barb, how you doing?
Good,
I'm
good. Hi,
good.
Louisa.
Good.
Sorry we're a
Yes,
little late. It's blame it on a lot of things, but we're here.
that's no problem. Look, there was a couple of people who had asked for a reading in previous reports. So I wanted to ask you if we could start with them, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Now, I don't have a name for this gentleman, but I think it is, he goes by What's It All About Alfie. He's in Bali and he
Hmm.
watches our show. And I don't know if you need his name. I did ask him for a name, but you think are you able to pick up anything on that for him
I'd
as for
like a
in terms of a
name.
reading?
I'd like at least a name.
So as soon as I get that, I will give it to you. We also have Judy Moore. Now, Judy has been a long time viewer and subscriber to Goldfish Report. So, and I apologize, Judy, if we missed you. It wasn't my intention at all. It's not that I don't care. I love every one of you, or I wouldn't be here, risking my life with death threats and with suspensions and terminations and censorship. So trust me, I've got a lot on my mind. So please forgive me if I overlooked your or if anyone else has written in that I have perhaps inadvertently overlooked their request, and I apologize if I did. But Judy would like to know if there is any messages for her.
Um, Judy, I see you stepping back. I feel like that if you're not sure about what to do, wait. I get this vision of you crossing your arms, and it's like you're in a position where if you wait a little bit, that the picture will clarify. I really do don't I don't I'm saying, Judy, don't rush into anything. Don't be forced. I feel like too that it feels like you're worried about like finances falling off a cliff. I'm supposed to say it's like it feels like that there will be financial pressure that you're facing in the near future, but I would say that you have some time. Anything that you're worried about is not as imminent as perhaps you think. I feel like I'm seeing you. If you wait, it's prudent, it's the right thing to do. Um, and I also see you paying people. So I don't know if this is something you're concerned about, but I'm seeing you handing out money to people, which means you have it to give.
Okay, very good. I hope Judy gets that. I'm not sure if she's going to be able to watch this live to get that, but I appreciate that. Let's just go over to our live chat and see if anyone else is there. Hi, Lacey. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Charlene and Cheryl, nice to see you too. And Destined for Greatness. I don't have to remember your name. I'm good at remembering the names. That's the problem. Um, yeah, let's see. So Lacey Powers wants to know if she should stay at her current job or take the other one being offered. Ooh, good question.
Take the other one. So you know what I see, Lacey, immediately? I see you like scratching out something where you've been, like a broad pencil going. "Eh." So I would say take the next position. Feels like it's a much better opportunity. Feels like obey any sense you had about the reason why you started to look. I feel like that was the right thing to do. But I really
Mhm.
see, to me, it looks like scratch out, get rid of what you had. It feels like that the right thing to do is to move forward with the new position.
Thanks, Charlene. I appreciate that. Lacey, does that make sense? I mean, is that what your gut's telling you, or does just let me know. Charlene, thank you so much for saying that. Does anyone have a question for Mark? I see a lot of chatting going on in there. Um, so Mark or Barbara, do you guys have any questions for Mark? And while we're waiting, yes, yeah, Lacey said thank you. Okay. Um, just wondering if there's any
One thing,
messages for me, Mark, or
well, one of the things that I don't know if you had a chance or if you talked at length about drones over the world.
I did.
All right. Well,
But I was verifying what you had said last week too, that you were saying that there were basically these two factions that were at it together. And I can tell you absolutely and unequivocally that's the information that I had gotten as well. That they both, but in terms of so the drones are one thing, the orbs are something else, but they both have technology. They both have access to both of them.
yes.
But there's also orbs coming from a different source, which I'm not sure we want to talk about that just yet, but I'll let you. Why don't you go ahead and give us your reading on that?
Okay, and also too, Barbara has had chance to form some very good opinions on it. So anything you want to weigh in on, honey, please do. My sense is that there are what I would call the alphabet agencies, some that are the better known ones and others that are less known. I feel like that the audience for this, I mean, while it's the general public around the world, not just New Jersey, there are threats and worries about drones around the world. My sense is that this feels like very much a deep state oriented thing. But beyond that, even it feels like that there is a select number of very well placed, technologically advanced, maybe unscrupulous um, organizations that want to exercise and display their
Power.
technology, their power. And the idea is that it isn't just all of us to be concerned about what's going on. It's other government branches that seemingly do not understand what's going on and feel vulnerable. So I mean, I feel like it's as tough as it is for lay people like all of us, people listening. There are people in the government that are really concerned about who is really running things, what's really going on. Barbara, was there anything you wanted to add on that?
Just that I've been following a Dr. David Greer, who is one of the premier, official, uh, I guess,
Disclosure
Yeah.
he's been doing it,
agents.
yeah, 30 years or more. And he was recently, it's so funny. We watch Dana Carvey and
David Spade.
David Spade have a podcast. Um, oh God, what's
It's usually kind of lighthearted, fun, observing.
just yeah, lighthearted. But they're very concerned about this, so they had David Greer on. I was like shocked.
And David Greer is very credible from what I can tell. I don't know
Yeah.
what you think of him,
And
but
so he was basically saying that what Mark was saying, that this is some rogue governmental entity, and they have a corporate, uh, I guess, interest or
yeah,
it's not just military, it's corporate too. And that he felt that the technology we're seeing, it's not extraterrestrial. He calls them extraterrestrial. He doesn't call them alien. They're extraterrestrial. But he says most of this technology we're witnessing is not extraterrestrial. It's
man-made.
man-made. And based on what we've learned from
What
ex
we've taken.
what we've taken from extraterrestrial downships, and he even said that some extraterrestrials are alive still.
The other thing too is that I want everyone. It feels like that this almost feels like that there are competing interests here. That I do feel like that the idea that some extraterrestrials may be actually demons, demonic presence. I feel like that this I mean, Barb and I had a unique experience where we were doing a paranormal investigation, and then we ran into what would be, we thought, okay, this is extraterrestrial because there are unusual signals we were seeing in terms of like um, doors opening and closing in terms of energy. We were able to observe through like electronic measuring devices, um, people stepping in and out of dimensions is how it appeared to us. And so I also felt like that these are, again, I keep my prayer to Saint Michael. There are evil spirits who roam throughout the world seeking the ruin of men's souls. And so that the idea that they would lie and present themselves strictly as aliens, it's accurate. Also, too, I do think that some of the people who have been um, able to take control of some of this, are they sociopaths? Are
Oh,
they
he said they were.
they're evil. There are
Yeah,
some people that don't think the way you and I do. They want to
right.
control things. They think power on earth is above all. So I was very concerned about that. I feel like it is a reality. And so and I don't think it's just one organization. It almost feels like that there are, like I say, competing interests. There may be more than one group. It's almost like someone, what is it, that saying, never let a good disaster go to waste or let a good emergency.
Right.
So
Right.
I think that
Crisis.
a good crisis go to waste.
Mhm.
Well, there are, I think, a number of competing interests. I think they're human, mostly, if not entirely, who are not wanting to let go of a good crisis.
Well, what he ended up saying was that he felt from his intel, from his sources that he has, and I guess he has some military. He kept referring to these people as like Delta Force.
Maybe they'd been there Delta
Yeah,
Force and or high level operators from
right.
decades
Mm.
ago.
Are
Who had,
you do you mean Stephen Greer, Dr. Stephen Greer?
Stephen
yeah,
Greer.
Is that
yeah.
who?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Because I have a video of him explaining some things here if you wanted to um, listen to him for our viewers who don't really know who he is. But I don't want to interrupt what you're saying, so I'll do that when you're done.
Well, he was saying and you can watch this podcast. It's David Spade and Dana Carvey podcast, the most
Yeah.
recent one. But what he said was that there's between now and the inauguration, he feels like there's something bigger coming. And he referred to these people as like Mark was saying, they're he even said psychopaths and sociopaths. So they don't care about you. So he says to take this very seriously. And but it's not extraterrestrial. He said it's not what everybody, oh, alien, he goes, even those orb things that people are seeing, we have that technology that is human made. And so, anyway, I thought that was a very important
Mm,
point that he made. So not to say, he didn't uh, rule out extraterrestrial influence,
hmm
but he said these, drones and all the technology we're witnessing is, pretty much man-made. But and I was telling Mark, I go, it coincides with my dream I had.
Hmm.
And when I have these dreams, I had a storm dream last week, and within from the time I have these dreams where something big is coming, it's usually 2 weeks. So 1 week has passed. So we'll see what happens next week. But within he seemed to think within the period of now and January, the inauguration, that something bigger is coming, so that we should be aware of that. And that's his goal, is to forewarn people and alert people that what this
Right.
is, not to be afraid, be cautious, because something big is coming. He doesn't know what, but that it's pretty much man-made, this rogue entity of our government and military and corporations, that are doing this. So I'd say if you want to listen to, it's about a 40 minute.
Well, I
It's
think
okay. Yeah. I mean, what he's saying
Yeah.
is that they've taken crashed ET craft and reverse engineered that,
Right.
and that's what we're seeing. But a lot of people don't know that, so they'll think it's ET. And I talked in detail about this plasma technology
Right.
that these orbs are. In fact, these orbs, just for anyone who missed the beginning of the program, I did talk about them. Uh, they use certain neutrinos, a new kind of neutrino, in order to create this plasma. It's a cold fusion plasma, and you can actually use it. If I can just find it really quick. It's used for communication device between galaxies and other dimensions as well. It's a plasma energy and powerful neutrinos creates particle beam weapons, and this is why obviously they would hide it from us, right? Because
Right.
only the responsible military can have some knowledge of something like that, right? Um,
Well,
let me
one thing I
just
want
get
to
to,
add too is that, like, I would be very dubious of what the government is telling us
yeah.
in terms of their official word. I feels like that we're being lied to once again,
Hmm.
so that I would not take that, what they say to heart. I do think that if someone tells you it's not harmful, it's because they need to be held accountable as to why do you think it's not harmful? How do we know it's not harmful? So, don't, and I would say so here we are. It's just we're a group of friends. We're on this podcast. We're people who have concerns. What can each of us do? I would say um, plan that for the idea that there may be some disruptions in some regions in terms of electronics, in terms of your ability to uh, get money, access funds, maybe the resources that you listen to for information, there may be disruptions, there may be complete
He
fabrications.
said EMP.
Yeah, so the idea that
Mm.
there could be power outages, and it doesn't mean it's nationwide, but it could be region-wide. So just be prepared and not to be too dismayed or think the end of the world is coming. I don't think the end of the world is coming, but I feel like that we're being
Right.
probed almost. How far can we take this? And what will we get from it? I almost don't, I'm not sure, because I do believe there's a couple of players, a couple of black hats, so to speak, that they're checking to see how far they can take this and what they can get from it. So I would say not panicking, talking to friends and neighbors, being observant, being prepared to hang out for a little while in the event that, like I say, if you have a little extra cash, you can access great food, water. If you're expecting, establishment media to um, provide a good answer, I would say that they're bought and sold by people who may not have your interests at heart. So
Right.
be conscious of that.
So let me go back to our chat because we have a couple of questions. DJ Delbert here just wanted to say hi to Mark and ask Barbara a question. Is it safe to use a spirit box? Are there any precautions that they should do or be aware of? If you know what that is.
Yeah, I do.
Mhm.
Do you want to
Oh,
answer?
there's nothing, yeah, it's safe, and it's all how you interpret what's coming over the spirit box because um, it's like we find when we use it, we get some pretty direct messages,
Mhm.
like specific things we hear. So all I would do is ask questions when you're using it and just listen to the answers, and interpret them. Think about where you are, your surroundings, the history of where you are. And but yeah, no, it's totally safe to use that as a way to communicate.
Let me add
Okay.
too. I
Uh-huh.
agree with Barbara's saying, but I would also say prayers. Protect yourself
Oh yeah.
anytime you're delving into something that you're not entirely familiar with at a paranormal or
Mm.
any kind of an energetic level. So what does that mean? Say some prayers, put some intentions out there. I'm here to for to protect my family, people, myself, people I care about and love. I want to be able to do something that contributes to the higher good. Ask God, please surround me in the white light of love and
Oh yeah,
divine protection.
we always do
Mhm.
protection before we
And then you should be
go.
good. To Barbara's point, I mean,
Mhm.
and also to just be aware that sometimes spirits will lie to you. If they're a negative or a marginal spirit, they may not be telling you the truth. So
Mhm.
that's why it's like listen and then do your own
Mhm.
assessment. Did that seem accurate?
Well,
Um,
that's your advice, so I'm
yeah.
gonna wait and see if he has any follow-up on that. But we also want Maggie would also like to know if she um, has any. Will she hear from her guides again one day? Or I
Oh
don't know if
yeah.
that's the question, or if she's going to get a message from her guides. I'm not sure if it's just will she hear from her guides again for
Maggie,
Maggie.
yes, you will. I would say again, use protection before you go and speak to them. Maggie, I get this visual, or it's like you're walking on a balance beam. I would be very conscious of what it is that you are. I would look to see who are my guides because it feels like that there's so much uncertainty there, and I think so. The idea that you trust your guides, I would say yes, but I would also give yourself a little time through meditation. I would also I love writing things down as I get them. Pay attention to the messages you receive. And then ultimately you have to listen. Does that make sense? Does that feel right? Does that feel good? If it does, I do think that you will hear, but just uh, this visual of you trying to strike a balance, I would say work on your ability to listen, and that comes from concentrated moments of meditation, not
Mhm.
hours and hours.
Mhm.
I would say minutes, and getting to trust the information you hear, right?
Okay, DJ said sounds good. Thank you, Mark and Barbara. Cheryl wants to know about if you get any kind of feeling about NASARA and GASARA, which is National Secure Economic
Yeah.
Reform Security Act, things like that, and then the global one, yeah. Do you
My
feel that that's legitimate, or do you feel that that's um,
My sense is that while there is so much truth in it, it makes me think that there are many special interests that want to deprive you of the money that you were given at birth, money that your life is worth. My sense is that this is going to be an ongoing battle. So I would say, do not think that money is spent. Be aware that many people are aware of it, but there's so many negative black hats, bad negative players out there that whose control of the world is based over keeping you from having the money that you are rightfully due. So they will fight that at every turn. So my sense is that this is not coming even with a new administration. It feels like it's going to take more of a global awareness of what has happened to all of us, what has been taken from all of us. So I would say speak about it, look for anyone who seems to be really trying to forward this and find out because it's like they've codified it. They being governments, local governments, federal governments, global governments have worked very hard to keep you from these monies that are, I believe, rightfully ours.
okay, what do you think about Ragnarok, the War of the Gods?
In some ways, uh, this little battle that we're seeing in front of us feels like that, but I see it as a metaphor as opposed to
Mhm.
reality.
Okay.
That said, I also believe there are fallen angels and true beings of the light who are
Hmm.
competing. So if you want to describe that or paint them in the terms of Ragnarok, then you can, but
Mhm.
it's good versus evil they're having at it at each other at a spiritual level.
Yeah, so before you joined us, we were talking about Antarctica and what's down under the ice, and that most of the region of the Earth had that was on the old maps was actually Atlantis, and it was a very advanced civilization, and they had these weapons. They had free energy. They had very advanced plasma energy. Um, there's evidence of this all over the world, and there's entrances into, I mean, there's tunnel systems inside the earth, even below the maglev tunnel systems. There's things that we just can't even imagine. I mean, that we're not allowed to see, that's blocked off from us. There's even sections of the Grand Canyon. There's sections of there's caves where they give entrance, they give access to these inner civilizations. There's apparently inner civilizations within Earth, and of course, there's also, look, the mystery of Genesis, uh, it's, I guess we'll all just find out one day, because I know that you're a faithful person, and being as intuitive as you are, I think you would know if, the if the Bible wasn't real, and I'm sure, you would never say that it isn't. So,
Oh, the Bible is real. I would
yeah.
just say that maybe it's an edited version, and that maybe some things have been removed to suit certain purposes of people who were in charge in government at the time that the Bible was codified.
Mhm. So, yeah. So, what about any predictions that you might have, Mark? Is there anything? So, I know yeah, Stephen Greer. I wanted to actually just go back to playing a little bit. Now, Stephen Greer has had this thing called the CE Initiative, which is like contacting extraterrestrial things like that. It's like he has a group of people. He's been doing this for many, many years, and Stephen Greer came out. He's testified in front of Congress many times, as Barb noted, and yeah, we've known about Stephen Greer for a very long time. He has talked about. He's a peculiar fellow, but I just wanted to screen share real quick a little bit about who he is, in case our viewers are not familiar. Take a listen to this. Nope. It's the wrong screen. Let's
I would
try it
want it.
again. Hold on a second. There we go. There we go. We have to get the right screen. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, that's the one. Sorry. Okay. Okay, here we go. So let's take a listen. He's describing how ETs make their clothes and vehicles. They stand inside an energy field and it materializes around them. Folks, this is Star Trek stuff. Take a listen.
The contract vessel that was in the South Pacific in '63. Jacques had the story, but he didn't have the source. It was a third-hand story.
Hard to see him actually.
Where we were testing the, I think they were the Atlas
Let me move.
and they picked up a craft. And
I'm
so
gonna
they
fast
were
forward.
in sort of these metallicized fabric. It was almost metal, soft metal-like fabric, one-piece suits. I said, yeah, like a onesie. But it didn't have any buttons or zippers. And he said, how could they have gotten in them? And I said, this is why you're calling me? And it was. This was exactly why he was calling me. And I said, well, I don't know if you're going to like my answer. And he said, well, tell me. I know those damn things, you could have to cut them off, but we couldn't even cut them. I said, well, the way that the suit is made, they just stand into an energy field that has a resonant, and it materializes around them. Like 3D printing, but like a 3D, zip. So there are no, and it comes off the same way. It dematerializes off and materializes on. But I said, did you notice anything about this thing that they were in, that was floating? He said, yeah, it had no pieces. I said the same thing. So I call this sort of a infra-ultrasonic manufacturing, where if you imagine going beyond the speed of light, speed of electrons, beyond the 0-point energy field, and creating sort of a architectural blueprint of a spacecraft that's in that dimension, like an astral like your astral body, and have that resonate, and it comes into this dimension in toto. So it recruits the atoms, the molecules, the structures, not by digging them up and smelting them and banging them and doing rivets like we do on an airplane, but it, and that's, I call this extraterrestrial manufacturing 101 that I'm sharing with you. So that's why these spacecraft, the guys who I know who've gone to ones that have retrieved them, they're seamless. Now, if you see one that has rivets and seams and parts of it, that's Lockheed and Northrop's and Boeing's anti-gravity stuff. But these, the ET ones, are completely seamless, and the light coming from.
All right, I'm going to stop right there just to give you all an example, of you probably recognize his voice. I think he said he's a neurosurgeon too. When he first came out, he wasn't quite as built up,
Right.
and he has done a lot of bodybuilding, whatever. He probably needs it for his own defense at this point.
Yeah.
But what do you think about that, Mark?
I feel like that he's speaking the truth. That's the one thing, Barb and I, in our simple explorations of like, things unknown, we constantly get surprised by how is that possible? How
Yeah.
is this possible? So I would encourage everyone to keep a very open mind. The idea that he's talking about, I believe it's quantum mechanic, maybe beyond that.
Mhm.
The idea that there are things that we can't imagine how it would happen. Barbara had a very interesting dream where you said you're going to see things that you couldn't explain or never seen before.
Expect the unbelievable.
Yeah, and I believe that we're getting
That
on the
was the
verge of that.
message.
Yeah.
Expect the unbelievable.
Barbara, I think you said that on the last report too.
Yes.
It sounds familiar, but you know what you had said.
Yeah.
So that's it. I mean, it's hard to imagine because we've only seen it. Well, in fact, they have told us, which is they're required to. They have told us it's in movies. We've
Yes.
seen this uh, in Star Wars and Star Trek and all this other stuff. So it really was disclosure, and perhaps it really was always there, planted as seeds in our subconscious, so that we would be, more prepared for it. But the problem was that they're absolutely exploiting humanity, and I think that there needs to be some oversight. If there's other worlds and other, uh, you know, there's got to be treaties. There's got to be a Council of Worlds, which I think there is. There has to be treaties, and there has to be somebody representing humanity who's not part of the military-industrial complex. I mean, I don't, I don't know. We're developing civilization. I just don't know why these entities were allowed on this in the same dimension as ourselves and this occupying the same space. But whatever happened, whatever these parasites, wherever they came from, who've tried to hijack humanity, um, and it's through magnetism. From what I understand, these interdimensionals, it's through magnetism that they keep and hold a human form, which is why they need to consume the blood.
Mhm.
And that's why you see in ancient, you see all over the world, you see these pyramids in Inca, you see over in Mexico, you see these pyramids with flat surfaces. Those are to sacrifice because these were the gods who require the sacrifice, right? So we don't, really understand who it is we're really dealing with here. I think we're going to, over time, we'll understand it a little bit more. I think there are different timelines though going on. So
Yes.
I was talking about this in the beginning of the report because sometimes the intel I get, I don't know what timeline it's for. Because I became aware that I was getting information that was very credible, but and I could see that it was playing out, but just wasn't playing out in my reality. So for me, I kind of felt like this is definitely a different timeline, and everybody is not on the same timeline. Depends on your deeds and what you've done. I mean, it's a karmic thing. It's you know, how you treat people in the world, how you've lived your life, what you've done. Um, that's going to determine what timeline you're on, what your frequency is, what your vibration is. You know,
Oh,
Did
and
you?
so I talked about this with Scott Werner. Remember, we talked about the
yeah,
Dawkins consciousness. I think it wasn't it was like the spiritual frequency, right? And so like love vibrates at the highest frequency, so that really is the frequency we all need to stay in it. And it's
yes.
not possible to just be in it all the time. I mean,
No,
it's like Maslow's hierarchy, right? You kind of slide back down and then you work your way back up and you slide, but something happens, an event happens, a breakup happens, a loss of a loved one happens, and you slide back down. You just can't stay in the state of self-actualization
no.
every minute of your life. So we're constantly up and down these ladders and up and down these, passive consciousness, that Dawkins, the Dawkins model, because there's different events that come up in our life, and there's also different people who present different challenges and who may be there to trigger your insecurities, and
Yes.
maybe people who are assigned to you to basically try to bring your vibration down, because there's nothing more that these dark entities want is to take as many humans with them as possible, because they're not on the same timeline as us.
Oh, I
So
don't know.
go ahead.
No, yeah, well, yes, I agree with what you're saying very much. The other thing too, in terms of events, Barbara was kind of going towards it. I think that within the next 4 to 6 weeks, we're going to have, I hear the word disclosure coming out in a very
Right.
big way, big time
Right.
disclosures. And so I would encourage people um, to as much as you can, um, question the sources that you're getting some of this, but I think it's going to become pretty self-evident. This is what's occurring. This is who is lying to us. This is who is telling the truth. What do we do from here? So I do think that be prepared for things that are going to um, cause you to reevaluate how you look at the world. I mean, it's so easy to just think, okay, we're Homo sapiens, we live on Earth, we've been here for, according to popular science, so many years, and we're it. It's like, and I would say that's kind of a childlike vision. I feel like that we have people, again, other dimensionals coming from other places, that they come from other worlds,
Hmm.
that we're not the only ones.
Hmm.
I know for a fact that there are spirits around us. I feel like that some of these spirits we may be interpreting as extraterrestrials or feeling, I mean, Stephen King, Dr. Stephen Greer
Hmm.
jokingly referred to them as the little green men. I mean, for some people that they may their wildest dreams may be something they saw on a movie E.T. 40 years ago. So the idea is be open to the idea that some other things are coming, that mankind is able to reverse engineer all kinds of astonishing things. It's funny. It's like I look at history. I like history. One of the things that I read about when the Romans left Europe or left England, the people who beat them, pushed them out, were unable to figure out how they created homes with heated floors. They didn't understand indoor plumbing. They didn't understand how archways were built. So the idea, even at that very basic level, someone who was there after the vanquished people left, or these, quote unquote, greater people were forced out left, the people who were behind them didn't know how to recreate what they had created. So at a higher level, could have other previous civilizations created things that we can't comprehend. Well, and it's happened before. It's probably happening again. So try not to be too freaked out. Be conscious of the fact that there's a lot we don't know. And
Okay,
then,
let me. Oh,
yeah, go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, I just wanted to ask you if you think that there's. I keep seeing uh, messages about some kind of nuclear standoff or some event that may involve like a very large number of cities in the not just the
I'm not.
U.S. I think particularly in the U.S., but I think it's like across the world though. Are you
Um,
seeing anything like that?
I think that it.
Like a nuclear
Yeah, I
standoff.
feel like that we're not, my sense is if we were really about to ignite nuclear events around the world, that aliens would step in, people from other places. I don't think that they want to sit by and watch us, idly sit by as we self-destruct. I don't feel like that they want to do that. My sense is that these beings are superior in terms of technology, maybe not morality. They may have a different mindset,
Mhm.
but I don't know. I don't see that they're going to allow us to destroy ourselves. I feel like that this has almost been a test, a beta, an idea that we're going to look and see, could we do this next time? So I feel like in a sense we get out of this time without uh, having major cities bec become uninhabitable. I feel like that we're going to see um, other problems in America and around the world. I just don't really think that they want to destroy us or will permit us to destroy each other quite yet.
And
I
what
think
about,
the
okay, go
threat
ahead. No, go ahead.
is sufficient. The threat, I'm sorry, I'm jumping in. I think the
Okay.
threat of nuclear destruction
Mhm.
may be sufficient to the purposes of the people operating these drones.
Can you also confirm that some of these drones were hunting for Trump and that they're trying to assassinate him?
I think that he's had, Barbara might be able to speak to this more than me, but I do feel like that there's been active interest in trying to kill him. And so the idea that these drones are being operated by people with very narrow interests that don't follow our needs and desires. So yes, the idea that Trump could have been
Mhm.
threatened by them feels absolutely accurate.
Mhm. Do you feel that that Trump is working for humanity?
I would say at this time, Trump is. Um, I think that one thing I would say is that um, I feel like there's some people who are concerned about his long-term interest. Is he of the light or is he the Antichrist? I mean, I've heard this from more than one source. I also believe too that prayer, I feel like that he is an evolving individual.
Mm.
And so the idea that while it's amazing some of the background details about his lineage, about his life,
Bloodline.
his bloodline. You can't. I know you know more about this than me, but my sense is that I feel like that as much as he may not have, he may have behaved in ways or had come from a certain place. I believe in the power of free will. I believe that power of prayer, and I believe that some of these things can be affecting him. So I would say that within the next 2 years, I do believe he's trying to act in the name of humanity. My sense is that he's not going to be trying to set himself up as a demigod, as I mean, I think he loves the adoration, but I think more to the point, he's trying to do the right things. And so, and I feel like that uh, we're by unless something terrible happens, he's going to be our president for the next couple of years. I would advise everyone listening to pray for him that he allows himself to act in the light and for the interest of humanity as opposed to anyone else.
Okay, now that's well said. That's well said. I mean, we all really can, you know, it's free will, so we can act on either, in either way. All of us can. We can act. He has a lot of people in his ear, like you said, and lots of conflicting agendas. And what do you think about Elon Musk, though? Wondering if he's also working for humanity. I mean, it kind of sounds funny to say that, but because I can't imagine that. I can't imagine. I mean, I see a conflict of interest, quite honestly. I mean, people, and I'm sorry if that, in any way biases your opinion, which I'm sure it won't, because you're going to pick up on whatever you pick up on. But it's just that we have a problem with the revolving door in Washington, going from, policymaker to CEO of corporations, and then
Profit.
after a couple of years of driving the policy and benefiting from this, for the CEOs benefiting from that policy, to create more benefit for themselves, they go back into the government positions of like FDA and things of that nature, and then they just continue to steer the ship in their favor. I you know, Musk has publicly stated he's had issues with regulation, and that may be a very legitimate point. But the question is, the regulation, is it going to make him more profitable as a CEO of these corporations? And that's what people need to be looking at instead of like being gaga over this guy and his multi-billion dollars. I think people need to realize that there's, like you said, pray that they're going to act in the best interest of humanity and not self-serving. But his mother's a Satanist. He wears Satanist costumes. He's not necessarily innocent. And so my issue is that this is, I think this is a huge potential conflict of interest and red flag. But I say potential because I'm not going to convict him of something he hasn't done yet, and maybe he won't. But what is your read on Elon Musk?
I
I
think
just felt like I had to lay that out for anyone. Yeah.
I feel like that Elon is an evolving character. I think of him as being a hammer. You can build a house with a hammer, or you can murder someone with it. And I think that he is very much a hammer. I feel like that. I feel like he's evolving. I feel like that. I don't know that I would have entrusted him uh, a few years back. I feel like that there is a interest in trying to do the right things. I feel like too that when I look at Musk, I is anyone ever could anyone is it conceivable that he could at a certain point say, no, I have all the money I could possibly imagine having and the power? Is it better to do something to change the world for the better? I'm not go. I think that it's worthy for him to be watched. I feel like that again. I'd pray for him that he doesn't um, just set things up so he can be even more profitable, have more money, have more power. I just got to think that he may be. I look at him and I think he's thinking, I want to be more than just the richest man in the world. I want to be a force for good. And what I would say too is that I don't entirely trust him. I don't see electric vehicles as being, the end all and beat all. I'm very concerned about the potential power of AI to impact everyone listening tonight and everyone that we know. It's coming and it's coming fast. It's happening. In my own life and work, I've seen I mean, we all have. You can all point to examples of
Mm-hmm.
how AI is making inroads and how, you interact with people, companies, individuals, examine your own needs and wants. It's coming. It's here. It's not coming down the road. It's not years away. It's minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
So be conscious of that. So is he a good guy, a bad guy? I'm leaning towards him being an evolving guy that is moving away from his very narrow self-interest to doing something of a more altruistic. Is he all good? No, I don't think so. I'm not gonna. He's not a saint. Hasn't yet to prove his infinite capabilities, if they are that. If he's a guy with a couple of good ideas, is he lucky that was he just the beneficiary of good timing and public programs? I think that he is being guided, so I'm going to allow that to play out. I mean, as much as I can, in my own mind, I have to think that he's going to do some good things because I feel like that he used to do a lot of bad things. Now he's changing.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. He did have a big impact on this huge omnibus bill that didn't get passed. We still may have a government shutdown tonight. We don't know yet, but it was a very big force on X. It was constantly, in my feed, the opposition to passing a bill with so much pork and so much actually expanding power. And that was the problem, the biggest problem. Not just was it to send more money to Ukraine, but it was continuing to expand their power, continuing the COVID-19 expansion of powers, which isn't necessary. So, this is so, and it was what, 1,700 pages and or more. And you had just a few hours to vote on it? No, I don't think so. And they did this on purpose so
Right.
that nobody would read it and, pass more. Um, I tell you though, it's not that people aren't doing anything to try and stop it. There's too many people being censored on his platform. Why does he have, what's her name? Yamaguchi or Susan, whatever her name is. Why, why, uh, why is she the CEO of, she's a globalist. She's a World Economic Forum globalist. Why is she running X? Why is she the CEO, whatever her name is? So she's still at the helm and she's still implementing tremendous censorship. I mean, my channel is so censored, it's unbelievable.
Mhm.
And it's like a waste of I wonder sometimes if it's just a waste of my time because, I just, I'm very censored.
Well,
So, but my concern with Musk, though, and I'm glad that you said that he, may want to do good. So, in that regard, when it came to putting the attention on that bill, and
uh-huh.
everybody suddenly started to read it, and different people started to pull different things out of it and really expose it for what it was, it killed the bill, which was a good thing. And then they reintroduced it just with the emergency funding in there. So maybe people of Western North Carolina can finally get some help at their homes. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, my sense is that he's evolving and that there's no denying the censorship and the suffering and the pain
Mhm.
that has resulted from that for so many people.
Yeah.
But I'd like to think that, let's not forget that he's a powerful man, but he's one man, and that there may be agreements that we don't know. Say, for example, the woman running X was a total globalist. I mean, I can't speak to her, but my sense is that, it's hard to a person like him, he may be making certain
Mhm.
directives that people that he works for have to follow, regardless of their background. So, if the boss, and she has a boss in him, may have faith in her, but is telling her that you have to change this. It hasn't happened yet. I would say that there's going to be a honeymoon period, and then I feel like that everyone who's made a lot of promises to the American people are going to start to be evaluated rapidly. I feel like that you're going to see a lot of good things come, um, but it isn't going to happen fast enough for all of us. It
Mhm.
just isn't.
Also, just wanted to mention that it was also reported yesterday that Elon Musk's brother owns a drone company. And the drones, it's the kind of company that does like light shows for drones. So
I bet they have
probably
nice
they're
drones.
probably AI run. It's
Yeah,
probably AI coordinated drones that do these shows in the sky. You've seen them in China.
yeah.
They're extremely sophisticated and there's thousands of drones and all of that. I just thought I would mention that in case it might have missed,
Oh, I'm not
your
getting on my knees to
headline.
worship this guy. I'm not, I know that there are people who have legitimate concerns about Trump.
Yeah.
I do feel like that these people are evolving. I mean,
Yeah.
the idea that I would have gotten excited about seeing Trump, Musk, together,
Hmm.
trying to bang out change. I'd like to think that most of the change is going to be positive.
Hmm.
But again, um, we need to make sure. I feel like that they've become so visible in this that it isn't. I mean, Trump was taking no money to become, in his last administration. I suspect he would do the same. I
Hmm.
don't believe that Elon Musk is going to get rich as part of the Doge, but I do think that we need to
Hmm.
see what are the net results. My
Uh,
sense is that
right.
he's going to do more good,
Yeah.
and that it's coming around.
Mhm. I mean, Trump was had to step down from CEO of his organization so that he couldn't be seen as being as profiting from his policies. And I think that, Musk should do the same thing. I also think that actually he had put out a poll. He had asked people what suggestions do they have regarding government, waste and government spending or whatever or issues within the government, efficiency issues, whatever. And I said, well, I think that um, any any contractor of the U.S. government that is being paid with taxpayer funds should also be subject to FOIA.
Yeah. Yes.
And that they're not going to like. He's not going to like that because that's going to show what they're well, what it actually shows is that the government is avoiding FOIA. If you look at it in the inverse, it's that government's using subcontractors to avoid FOIA requests and freedom of information for people obtaining that information. And because they're private contractors, they're private corporations, they're not subject to it. But the problem is that um, we should be seeing that because I
Mhm.
don't think that, uh, I don't see, I think it's completely reckless and irresponsible to go to Mars when we have so many problems that have not been solved here. It's reckless at this point in time. And quite frankly, it's a waste of our money
It's
to be paying
ego-driven.
him as a private contractor to embark on an endeavor. It almost seems like he really doesn't care about the people of this planet. He just wants off. He wants to go and do whatever. So this is, I mean, I'm telling you just from a psychology perspective that says, you see, the Bible tells us you know them by their fruit, okay? Why would Elon Musk want to go to Mars? Is it really just for exploration? No, he says we need to, who was it? Says we need to leave this planet. Well, why do we need to leave this planet? And, if you're contributing to the downfall of this planet, why should he be given that pedestal, right? So I'm just saying, people need to think critically, and these are the ways to think critically about this. It's not ooh ah, and it's just not. But anyway, I think we're gonna close that up for tonight. I want to thank you, Barb and Mark, for joining me. I know you had another engagement, and I'm glad you weren't able to join us for
Me too.
tonight. Yeah, let me just see if there's any other questions? I think we're all done. And I want to thank everyone who's been in the live chat tonight. You've been great. You've been having great conversations. And I just wanted to screen share this. I know Mark and Barb can't see it, but I definitely wanted to make sure that they were able to take a look at the live chat and that we've had
Wow.
a very nice, we're building this up, getting a very nice dialogue and conversation going here. So that's really nice to see. So I want to thank everyone who's joined us in the live chat. And Judy, I definitely got to your reading, and Mark gave that reading to you. So I hope you're able to get it. And our friend from Bali, I need your name, or Mark can't focus in on your reading. And I did put that comment in the um the comments that you posted on that report. So please make sure you put your name in there. I do not remember it, and you did make like 3 posts like really complaining about the fact that I didn't get to your reading, but you didn't put your name in any of it. So I couldn't do the reading without your name. So please make sure you include your first name. Okay, everybody. So that's it for tonight. And I will be back next week. But until
Totally.
then, we do have, I just wish everyone a Merry Christmas for those who observe Christmas. And let's just pray for peace and safety,
Yes.
but we are living in tumultuous times right now. So let's just be safe. I don't know why. I got a warning today about airplanes before we leave. Are you getting anything on this?
Um,
To stay off of airplanes. Do you have
hear that,
any?
but it doesn't mean that you're not being accurate. I mean, I think that uh, I still feel like that there's going to be disruptions, and where the airplanes may have a problem is in loss of power that could be part of an attack. limited or just disruptions. I want to say disruptions in the grid, the matrix, so to speak.
So
That
an
can cause
EMP
some,
kind of thing,
yes,
like
I'm very
electromagnetic
concerned
pulse.
about that.
Could it
Yeah,
come from the sun?
I'm seeing it as being man-made.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you something. Uh, when Trump was in office, when I was reporting at the White House, during that time, he had signed an executive order regarding an EMP in case of an EMP attack against our country. So he knew, he knew this guy was definitely read in on all the, on all of the
Yeah.
coming in issues, and of course the human trafficking and the seizing of the property of those convicted of crimes against humanity or human trafficking, things of that nature. And this is what's all going to go down. There will be arrest wars coming. There still will be. I think they're saying, tell me what you think, Mark. Is Barack Obama going to finally be held accountable for what he's done? Because a lot of people don't know anything about what he's done.
Like that he's not been a good player. Feels like he's been behind so many evil, bad things. Um, I think that I have trouble seeing him being arrested. Regardless, I feel like that there's so much corruption that and so many corrupt players that would protect
Mhm.
him that
Yeah.
it's almost difficult to imagine. It doesn't mean that he
He would
wasn't.
leave the
I mean,
country.
I personally don't see how he wasn't arrested earlier.
Yeah.
Like that
Mhm.
it's like, and then I go, oh, what I do know, because the DOJ is corrupt.
Right.
They
Mhm.
selectively persecute, prosecute, arrest, apply laws as
Absolutely.
the
Mhm.
purposes of their handlers.
Yeah, exactly. They do.
DOJ is crooked, and they need to be uh, brought. I mean, there are good people there, but there are a lot of high-placed people that are operating for the benefit of a select few, and we are not among them.
Right. So this is the deal. It's kind of like, well, what the hell are we doing here? Because how are we supposed to evolve when we are thwarted at every, we are, and we're not. We're prisoners of war in a battle between the good and evil, dark and light, God and the underworld, however you want to say it. We should not be in this situation, as you said in the beginning of, when you joined me, that this money, this global trusts are there for, when it came to Nasara, are there for humanity, and it's being robbed from us.
Yeah.
And yeah.
A lot
But
of
I
people.
know people, we do know people who are working on this, so right now I'll talk to you about it later.
I
Good.
pray.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it should happen because
Hmm.
the right thing to do, but
Right.
there's such deep-seated um, money, power, um, interest in keeping us from having that money.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
shocking
Hmm.
to
What
think.
about this global currency reset? Do you see that happening? I mean, there should be a stock market crash in order to change over to the new system. Do you see that imminent, or is that
I feel
longer
like
down
that.
the road?
I think it's coming down later. I've said this again and again. I feel like that we're going to see significant turbulence
Hmm.
in current stock market that's going to drive prices up and down. And so I've advised my own clients
Hmm.
to have some back. I mean,
Hmm.
who has money that they can, I love it when these experts say you should have 6 months to a year of disposable income. Really? Yeah, but why not 10? It's like, give me a break. It's
Hmm.
like, but I would say that being able to withstand a certain amount of uh, law, not being able to access the money that you have and own, that can happen.
Hmm.
So be prepared that if something goes
Hmm.
wrong, that you could have some survivability. The last thing you want to do is, in a short term, find yourself in desperate straits.
Yeah, and not have cash, because uh uh, it's possible that the credit cards and electric transfers and things like that, or even um wires and things like that won't work. So if you
No.
have cash on you, that would be the best thing. Um and definitely have stuff to barter, though. I mean,
Yes,
bartering,
barter is
if that were to
done.
get, yeah, right?
Yep.
That's
People
a
are
good
going to need
idea.
water,
Right.
food, weapons. Do you have ammunition? Do you have alcohol? Do you have first aid?
Mhm.
These are things that people in a very bad place, they're not going to be so worried about, accessing their Netflix subscription. They want to know,
Mhm.
will I have food 3 days from now?
Medicine. Medicine.
Will I have
Right.
will I have the medicine that I need? If you use something on a regular basis, of course, always the people who rely on insulin. If you're diabetic, how much medication do you have in the event that you don't have access? Or I occasionally use an asthma inhaler. I've managed to very dramatically reduce my dependency on them, but I have an ample supply if something occurred. Barb and I have other homeopathic medications and treatments to survive a range of illnesses. And so I would encourage everyone to do that. Figure out how to do this. Doesn't mean spend every nickel you have you know, but I'm saying it's like you got to be able to survive a week or two. What happens if all of a sudden you go to the tap one day and what comes out looks like mud? That happened to me and Barbara in Los Angeles. We had an earthquake and go to the tap and it's coming out like rusty mud. You can't drink it. What do you do?
Mhm.
What happens in the event that something like that here in North Carolina? The people, were devastated unexpectedly by a hurricane in the mountains that was never supposed to
Right.
happen.
Right.
Right.
Happened. I feel like it
Right.
was manipulation, and we need to hold accountable the people who are making this occur. Will that happen?
Mhm.
I'm not sure. I don't know yet. I wouldn't be betting on that tomorrow. I think that there is consciousness, there's an awakening that's occurring. And I would say to be conscious of if you're hearing shocking disclosures about what you thought was true, what we think is true is really, it's changing. I'm never in my whole life felt like we're living in a matrix like we are now, and that there's so many things that we see that we think are true, when in fact they're not. Be
Okay. So, so Musk has said also that he thinks that everybody should have a, I'm trying to find the post. Everybody should have a Starlink in case it was very, very clear about this, in case there's some, you don't want to be, like stuck without it in a situation. So he was really kind of hinting at that there may be blackouts coming or there may be interruptions in this coming up. And I was just looking for that post, but I don't see it. But so he was, he was obviously promoting his company, and this is what I mean about a conflict of interest. I mean, yeah, it could be cute, right? Because everybody, I don't know, everybody's just like really rallying around him because he's this, geeky, billionaire. But you know, we still have to hold them accountable or we're just going to walk into the same trap as we
Yes.
have before. Whether you like him or not, it's not the question. The question is there a conflict of interest and is he serving the public? Is that conflict of interest compromising, um, the goodwill for the public, something of that nature, So anyway, everyone, thanks so much again. I just want to thank everyone who's in our chat and blessings. Thank you. Merry Christmas to everybody. Oh yeah, Todd, you missed it again. Did you have a question, Todd, before we sign off? Because we're signing off right now. He just missed it. I mean, he just joined in, and it's yeah. But funny thing is that we went late tonight because Barb and Mark had a prior engagement, and they ended up joining me. So we ended up extending our report tonight. So I would just say that's I don't see a question from Todd. So
I'd
let's
say it's late for questions. Too late.
yeah,
Old
yeah.
Mark's brain is getting a little soft.
Well, okay. Well, everyone, thanks for joining me tonight. We'll see you next Friday. I hope and wish everyone a safe and very Merry Christmas. And you too, my friends. And thank you for your adorable card. It was very cute. I liked it.
God bless
Yeah, I
everyone.
wasn't sure if you had gotten my card, but maybe you will. It's probably just delayed a little bit. Okay, so everyone happy, have a nice, safe weekend. Merry Christmas, and we will see you next week. This concludes this edition of the Goldfish Report.